Hello, I'm Ashley, and welcome to my little virtual space here. Today, I wanted to talk to you about synchronicity and receiving messages from your guidance team, from your guides, from your angels, receiving synchronicities through numbers and through music. Those are two ways that I receive synchronicities, and I just kind of wanted to share my experience. I've had people ask me about what it means to receive these numbers or what it means when you see them. And I just kind of wanted to give a little brief description about what they mean for me. But what's most important to remember is that when you receive those messages from spirit, from your guidance team, from your own intuition, it's really about cultivating your own relationship with them and your own relationship to the meaning of them. And so for every person, it's going to be different. Every meaning is going to be different. And what's important to remember, because I do look these things up when I first began to awaken, like the number meanings up online. You can Google them very easily. You can Pinterest them. And for the most part, like that's where I received a lot of the information I know about synchronicities is really just by googling them and then developing my own relationship with them over time. So I'll go ahead and start just with the basics, especially if you're cultivating or if you're wanting to create or you're calling in like a soulmate. I know a lot of people are searching for love, and I had somebody ask me about what do these numbers mean in reference to love. And it's important to remember that you might be searching for romantic love, but for me, love is angelic guidance and divine love, and there's more than just romantic love. So these, when you're receiving synchronicities, they're generally have nothing to do with a partner or anyone else. They're messages confirming to you what you already know within yourself. So if you have met a soulmate, or you have met someone, if you already have one or you don't, and that's something that you're wanting, though, if you're craving this like deep soul connection, you may begin to receive synchronicities as a way to guide you on your path. And what's important to remember is that you already know that path. The numbers and the synchronicities and the messages and the magic you're receiving from the universe are really just all confirming what you already know deep within yourself. They just help us get past the mind, and that's how they help us here in the physical. So yeah, like I said, one way that you can receive them is through numbers. I receive numbers a lot, or through music. Music plays a huge role in my life. It has since I was a young girl, especially as a teenager. I used music as a way to, and I still do, as a way to express myself, as a way to feel my emotions, as a way to process my emotions, either through singing, through dancing, through writing my own poetry or my own music, and when we're in that receptive energy of like listening to music, maybe if we create that time to just listen to music, we are able to open ourselves up to receive messages from our divine guidance. I'll share another practice, but first I'm going to get into the numbers. And so we'll start with one. When I see 111 a lot, for me, one represents a number of independence. It represents a number of wholeness. It represents a number of manifestation to me. And so it's also a number of intention. So for me, whenever I see 111 a lot, it reminds me to focus on where is my intention focused? Where are my thoughts focused? Because our intentions create our manifestations, and our intentions are our thoughts. So it's important when I see that number, to focus, to make sure my thoughts are focused on what I actually desire. Because what will happen is we can focus on all the worst case scenarios, because our mind, we live in survival mode, we can think of all the worst case scenarios, and then this 111 will maybe appear to show us like, okay, where are your thoughts? Because as you continue to create the worst case scenarios in your head, and you continuously think about worrisome results, or worrisome, like confrontation with other people, if you're constantly worried, it's like a survival mode. It's something you've picked up in early childhood as a way to fixate on something, as a way to control. So 111 comes in to remind you that, and one is a very like feminine energy to me, as it's producing something. And so it's just it's there to remind you to shift your thoughts. So if you're very like focused on what you don't want, if you see 111, it's like focus your thoughts back on what you do want, so that you're creating that, so you're manifesting that, so you're bringing more of what you do desire into your experiences. So if you want more compassion interactions with people, if you want more kindness, to focus your thoughts on kindness, to focus your love on peace, to focus your thoughts on love, to focus your thoughts on peace and compassion. But if you're constantly like thinking of terrible, turbulent, chaotic situations in your mind, you might see that number as a way to help you refocus and reshift your thoughts so that you can create what you do want to come into your experience. So that's what I see when I see 1. But like I said, you'll have your own relationship with 1. 1 might just be a very important number to you. It might be a significant date to maybe a loved one or to a romantic interest or like a soulmate. It might just be a very significant number for you. So always pay attention to you and your own understanding above all else, above what you go to the internet and search. And like if you Google it and it'll tell you an example of what that number means. Base it off your own intuition and your own judgment first, but also maybe that resonates with you, the message that you saw on Google that is associated with that number. And you can always keep that with you as a reminder too, that, that was your message that you were meant to receive, but also making sure you have your own understanding of what this number means for you personally. So like I said, it's going to mean so many different things to so many different people. Next would be 2s. 2s to me represent a number of like partnership. They also represent, to me, whenever I see 222, it's a reminder that I'm on the right path, to keep having faith, to keep trusting, maybe to trust in the unknown. So that's what 2 represents for me. But like I said, it'll be different for everyone else. And then would be 3, onto 3. And I love 3. 3 is a big number for me. To me, it represents like the Trinity, but it also, like mind, body, and soul as a way to like remind you to align your mind, body, and soul, your thoughts, your emotions, with your energy, and making sure they're all in the same, focused on the same thing. But it also just reminds me whenever I see it that my ascended masters are with me. So your ascended masters, they are, your guides, they're your teachers. So we have physical teachers here in the physical world, but we also, this is an earth school. And as a soul, we have teachers. And so one of my ascended masters and one of my teachers in this lifetime is Jesus. I came to learn a lot about forgiveness. And so I have him with me so I know he's near, or Mother Mary as a way to console myself and have a lot of compassion and to heal my mother wound. So when I'm feeling a little discomfort or I need comforted, I see 333 as a way to remind me to call upon her presence or to know that she's with me. Also, I work with Buddha as a way to, I struggle with mental health. And so working with him has helped me with my meditation practice and helped me cultivate peace and joy. So it's always nice to see that number. That's a number that's just, I know those ascended masters are with me. So like I said, it could be a significant date for you. You can look up what the meaning means on Google if you would like, but that's personally for me, like I said, it's going to be different for everyone. 4s. I love 4s. 4s is a number of stability. 4 is 4 always represents angelic support to me. So I also work closely with angels, and I work closely with Archangel Michael, and I always see him associated with the number 4 because he works with the root chakra, and the root chakra is our foundation, our stability, our security. It's what makes us feel safe. So when I see 4s, I just know that I'm surrounded by my guidance team, by my angels, that I'm not alone. That's why I like number 444. I see that one a lot. You can see not just like on your time, on your clock, but also like on license plates or receipts or just anything, just random. It's important to not be so fixated on like where the synchronicity is going to come from. Is it going to come from my clock? Is it going to come from the license plate? Don't think about it. Allow yourself to receive and be open. That's what we're learning, is how to trust those feelings, how to receive, because in a society that we've been taught to like be very masculine and to give, a lot of us don't know how to receive, or it feels really uncomfortable for us to receive, or we don't feel worthy of receiving, especially when it comes to love. So it's important to remember that we didn't come here to learn how to receive love from like other people, whereas we more came to receive love from the divine, from God, it's like about cultivating a relationship with a non-physical being. And so when you can commit to a non-physical being, then you can commit to a physical relationship. But we're kind of doing it backwards. What we're really learning to do is how to rely on our faith, how to learn how to receive the love we are meant to receive from the divine, the love that he has designed specifically for us. And the only way that we can access that love is by going within ourselves, not searching for it outside of ourselves. So I know there's a lot of people calling in soulmates, and you may start receiving synchronicities. I know that when I began to awaken, I was receiving them all the time, and I had no idea what a synchronicity was. I had no idea. I didn't grow up spiritual or anything. So it was something that I had to look into, and it's something I've had to create and cultivate a practice over a long time. It's been a couple of years now that I've been receiving messages, and I feel very confident in the messages that I receive. But when I first began, I would receive synchronicities, or I would receive numbers, and I would have to receive it a couple times before I would like look it up, because I wanted to make sure it wasn't actually a sign and not like something I was like making up. But like if I would see it a couple days in a row, if I would see it multiple times in a day, I was like, okay, that's definitely a message. I'm going to look into it more. Like you can meditate on it if you'd like, or you can also Google it, or do both, in my opinion. That's what I do. So I like to have my own understanding, but I also like to see the messages that I receive from the meaning that's like publicly posted. Like I said, there's going to be lots of different things that you see if you Google search it. So it's important to discern with your own intuition what resonates for you, what clicks for you. Don't try to force anything to fit. Just allow it to be. So where was I? Yes, 4s. Great number. Angelic support is with you. On to 5. 5 is a number. It's a little bit of a challenging number in my opinion. It's a number of kind of like conflict, but it's also a number of change. It's a number of like a lot of things going on. It's a lot of things. It's a number of like things being imbalanced or chaotic. It's just kind of messy. 5 is like a messy number. It's not balanced. It's kind of all over the place is how I see 5. And so, but it's also like a good number. Just reassures you that like things are changing, and it's usually for the better. Like if you're receiving divine guidance, it's important to remember that your intuitive guidance is always going to feel very friendly. It's always going to feel very gentle. It's never going to demean you. It's never going to put you down. It's never going to make you feel bad. It's never going to try to scare you. It's never going to try to come up with the worst case scenario. It's never going to be aggressive or fearful. It's never going to be like that. It's never going to try to like put you down. It's always going to and angelic assistance is always going to help you to stay optimistic. 444 to me could always be a number of optimism as well, like choosing to focus on the good. And also like that angelic support, you're not alone, like I said, so it helps you to heal like your abandonment wound. When you see that number, you know that you're supported, you know that you're guided. And as you begin to develop this relationship with your guides, with your angels, for me, I work with spiritual guides. I also work with galactic guides. I work with fairies. I work with angels. I work with spirit animals. And so there's a lot of different kinds of support. I work with my ascended masters, my teachers. So it's like there's a lot of support. And what we don't realize is that it's important to rely on that support. That way we feel endless. We feel supported. We feel infinite. We feel stable. Our foundation is built from spirit, which is eternal, rather than something that's built from the material world that's temporary. And a lot of our relationships are built on temporary transactional love rather than on spiritual, eternal love, So the more we begin to cultivate that love within ourselves, that eternal love, and we heal our conditional wounding. For example, I want to give this example because it's very important. Let's say like a mother and their child. A mother tends to, especially nowadays, where I'm giving an example for conditional love, whereas the mother loves when the child and praises the child when the child is good and quiet and behaving. But as soon as the child begins to misbehave or throw a tantrum at the store and everybody's staring at them down, like they feel this sort of like uncomfortableness. They feel this, they get mad at the child, maybe like they want the child to change. They don't appreciate the behavior. And that is conditional love. But unconditional love would be able to receive and be able to hold space for both the child's emotions when they're being good and behaving, and when they're, having emotional turbulence, being able to hold that space for both and to love them through both. So that's what we're really learning how to do, is how to hold that space, and how to love unconditionally rather than transactionally. Like, I'm only going to love you if you behave in this way, but if you don't behave in this way, then I'm going to withdraw my love. That's not unconditional love. And then that teaches us how to rely on other things, maybe substances, food, or whatever, or we repress our emotions, or we don't allow ourselves to feel our emotions. So anyway, I'm kind of getting off on a rant. But like I'm saying, that 4 helps you to, seeing the number 4 will reassure you that, your angels and your guides are with you, that you're never truly alone, that you're unconditionally loved. That's what I see 444 as. Also, it could represent like a stable foundation. It could represent something around home. It could represent things around finances. So remember to discern and take what resonates for you. Develop your own relationship. Wait, no, I already moved on to 4. And I already did 5. So like I was saying, 5 is kind of a chaotic number. So moving on to 6. 6 is a more balanced number. People have kind of associated 6 with like the devil. I don't see it that way. For me, it's a number to help you focus, to balance your spiritual and your physical life. So maybe if you're too focused on the spirit, or if you're too focused on the material world, and you're caught up in your job and you're constantly worrying, and you're only focused on making money, and you're only focused on building a home, and you're only focused on those things, you might see 666 as a way to balance your life, to focus more on your spiritual aspect, to develop your intuition, to connect with your guides, to meditate more, to feel at peace, to have more play, to balance your life. That's what 6 is a number. That's what represents for me. It's also a number of like the lovers, or like divine love. So that's another thing that it represents as well. But I always see it as like a number of needing to balance out your life, to balance work and home, to balance spiritual and practical, to balance logic and intuition. Next would be 7. I always see 777 as a number to me when I know that I'm ascending, or I'm moving to another level of consciousness, or I'm being enlightened, or I'm awakening, or I'm seeing things from a different, higher perspective. I always see 7 as that. As like a spirit. It's a very spiritual number, like a very spiritually guided number to me is what I see 7 as. So I really like 777 as a way just to confirm, like, yes, you are awakening. Yes, what you're feeling is accurate. Yes, you are ascending to another level. You are opening your heart to, you're raising your vibration. That's kind of what I see 7 as. So 8, I love number 8 because it's the infinity symbol, of course. It represents abundance. It represents creativity. It represents, like I see it as kind of like gratitude. And so when you're really focused on being very grateful for the things you have, even if you don't have, like, it's important to remember that gratitude doesn't come from like, you don't appreciate everything just because everything's kosher and perfect and exactly the way you want it and it's comfortable. Gratitude is being able to be in discomfort and find the good. It's being in like turbulent situations and holding your center by focusing on the feeling of your, like being appreciative of your body in those moments, so gratitude doesn't mean bad things don't happen. It just means you're choosing to focus. And so when you see 888, for me, it's like you're doing a great job choosing to focus on appreciation, to focus your thoughts on gratitude, to give thanks, so that's why I see it as it's just a number of creation and connecting to the infinite source. And so that's why I really like 8. 9 is a number of completion. 9 is like the end of a cycle. 9 is like, don't give up, keep going. It's like, it's just like wrapping something up. It's not quite yet complete. It's like maybe this in between where it's like you've come to like the very end and you're feeling good, but like you're not quite ready to move on to the next. So it's just like, don't give up, keep going. That's what I see 9 as. And like things are completing. You'll be moving on to the next part of your path. Like, so just being open to that, whatever that is. And then 10, I always see 10 as a number of completion, number of like wholeness, a number of like release, kind of. It's just like something coming to an end, something coming full circle. And I also see, when I see like 10-10 together, I'll see that one a lot. And that to me always represents like personal empowerment. So that's like when you've stepped into, like maybe you've completed the cycle. Now you're stepping into that information you received from that cycle. And it makes you feel very empowered. So when I see 10, I always think of empowerment. Like I said, you can Google it. It might be different for you, or 10 might just be a significant number for you, or any number. 1111 is another message that I've received after interacting or coming in contact with my soulmate. And so 1111 always represents like 2 wholes coming to one. It's a balance of your masculine and feminine energies. It's always, like people say 1111, make a wish. So it's like when I see 1111, it's about mirroring. So especially in partnership. So what are you learning in your relationships right now? What are your relationships teaching you? What are they showing you about yourself? Maybe you don't like what you're seeing in the people you're around. And then that teaches you to look at yourself and how can you accept those things within yourself that you're rejecting in other people or judging in other people. So 1111 to me is like about using your relationships and the things around you, not just like your relationship to other people, but your relationship to the world. What is the world mirroring back to you? and how can you learn from it? So that's what I see 1111 as. It's like your mirror. Also, 1212 is a number that I've received that's related to my personal purpose and like my, like my divine path. So it's important to, like I said, develop your own relationship with your guides. They can't like intervene and they can't help you unless you ask for their assistance. You have to use your free will to be able to receive these messages from them. Like I said, it's not about like going out and looking for them. When you're open and you're receptive and you're surrendered and you're trusting, they'll show up everywhere and you'll be like, holy shit. I can't believe this is happening. They'll be everywhere. And also you can ask, like if you want to ask for a number specifically as just a way to begin to practice, like, can you send me a 5 or can you send me a 13 or whatever number you like, you decide, you communicate that with your guides and then they'll send it to you, but be open to how it comes. You can see them on license plates. You can see them on billboards. You can see them, somebody's address, like I said. So it's like you can see them all over on the clock, obviously, in a book, like on a page in your book, when you're listening to music and the little track tells you how much time is left, you'll see them there too. Like they're everywhere if you can stay open, open to them. So next I'm going to move on to music, because I love music. Like I said, music has played a huge role in my life. It will continue to play a huge role in my life. Sound healing has been magnificent for healing. It's so good for healing the emotional body, for healing the energetic body, for healing our nervous system. And so music is a huge way that I receive messages from my guidance team. One practice that you can do is go to wherever you listen to your music, whether it's Spotify, YouTube. If you just have shuffle on your phone, like that's where you keep your music. You clear your energy, take a deep breath, clear my energy, cleanse my aura, connect with your guides, and you can ask aloud or in your head and say, what do I need to know right now? Take a deep breath again, hit shuffle, and then what comes up, it could either be like the album art, it could be the track title, it could be the lyrics, of course, so taking that time to listen to the messages you're receiving. Even if you don't like it, sometimes I'm totally guilty of this, or like I'll play a song or like I'll shuffle and I'll get my message and I'm like, this isn't what I wanted to hear, and so you can totally get like that, but like don't beat yourself up, but also don't abuse it. Like it's a fun thing to do every once in a while, especially like if you're working out or if you're like about to go for a run or you're going to go out into a nature walk. It's good to leave your phones at home, but if you like music and it helps you stay grounded and connected to your body, then it's a really fun practice to just do occasionally. Or you might just hear songs like in the grocery store, or you might hear songs like, obviously playing on the radio. They could be anywhere. Like, and another thing that I like to do, especially when I'm in meditation or I'm in a pretty meditative state all the time where I'm very mindful, very intentional. So I'm able to receive messages from like my claircognizance, which is just messages being directly from the divine. And so I'll just hear a lyric that it's important to remember. Like if you just listen to a song or you've listened to it a lot within the last day and it's like constantly in your head, then like it's important because that's in your subconscious mind. But when you come into your conscious mind and you're in your conscious mind and you just hear a lyric, or you hear like a song playing in your head that you maybe haven't heard in a few days or maybe even longer than that, or it just comes out of you, then that's a message to me. But like I said, if you're just like in your subconscious mind and you've heard this song and it's been playing on the radio for the last 3 days, like every 2 hours, then that's probably not a message. But like I said, another way you can do it is just by shuffling your phone or just being aware of the messages. I receive messages. I'll give you a quick little story about a song that I received. So in association to my beloved and to my soulmate relationship. So I would hear this song and I really liked this song, but I listened to 2 different radio stations, and right before an interaction with this person, I heard this song play. Like I went into my car, it was on the radio, and I was like, oh, I've heard this song so many times, and I had heard it so many times. I'm like, I'm so sick of hearing this song. So I went to the other radio station, same song playing, and I was like, you're kidding me. And I was going to go for a run. I was going to the park, parked my car, went for my run, went for my walk, was listening to my music. I was about to get into my car to leave, and that song had shuffled on my on my iPod, on my iPhone. And then when I got into the car, after the song had finished, it literally, when I started my car, that song was playing again. And then this was maybe like a week later, maybe a couple weeks later, maybe even a month later, I have an interaction with my soulmate. I see him, and this song plays. When it's just the two of us, and like reaches over and turns up the song. And I just couldn't believe it. I was flabbergasted in that moment. So I just want to, that's just like my own personal, like, proof of like receiving signs. And so it's like, I know that that was a message, and I understand now why I was hearing it a bajillion times before that interaction, as a way to like, when we had that interaction, I would know that that was a message from my guides without there needing to be any communication or interaction with this person. So that's just one way that I receive messages, and it really helps me feel supported. It really connecting to my guides in that way. And it's been a long practice. I've had to cultivate this practice over a couple of years of developing my intuition, but that's the whole purpose. It teaches us how to trust ourselves again. It teaches us how to, rely on that eternal support, to rely on our own knowing, our own understanding, to make decisions and to make choices based off our own understanding rather than from the world's or from other people's opinions. And there's so many opinions on the internet. This day and age is filled with so many people's opinions that if you don't have a strong belief system, if you don't have a strong opinion of yourself and an own understanding of your own intuition, your own path, then you will be easily persuaded by other people's opinions. And it can make you feel like out of control. So being able to develop this relationship with non-physical beings is really beneficial for your relationship with yourself, your relationship with the world, and your relationship with your children, your relationship with your parents, your relationship with your potential partner or your partner that you're with now. It's with your coworkers. It really affects everything. So it's a very important relationship to cultivate, and it does take time. It does take commitment, but that's the whole purpose, in my opinion, is learning how to commit to that part of ourselves, to really develop that unshakable certainty within who we are. It really creates a lot of confidence. It really helps your self-esteem. It just, like I said, it teaches you how to trust yourself. And I know I have had the biggest trust issues. That was probably one of my biggest lessons. And I think that when we come to learn these lessons and learn about developing our intuition and learning how to receive, it's like we're really learning how to trust ourselves. And I think it's very important that we learn how to trust ourselves, otherwise become very dependent on other people to make decisions for us, or to make us feel a certain way. And I was very emotionally codependent. And so being able to rely on my guides helped me to be able to heal that emotional codependency. It helped me be able to heal my abandonment wound and my attachment wounds that kept me very anxious, and that kept me very obsessively thinking and caught up in my mind and in that victim energy of victim consciousness, or like somebody's always going to attack me, somebody's always out to get me. It's like constantly in that energy, and you feel very defensive. Whereas learning how to rely on your angels and your guides really brings you a sense of comfort. It allows you to relax into your body. It allows you to feel safe in your body, allows you to feel safe here on earth. It allows you to feel anchored here on earth. And so we think like, oh, but if we put so much work into our spiritual practice and we receive these signs, and we're very focused on our spiritual world, that like and for me personally, I have gone to the extreme where it's like, I kind of forget, like I forewent the physical world. But it's like, as you begin to develop a more spiritual practice and you begin to actually ground that energy, like it creates a lot more stability in your life, a lot more security in your life, and you just feel more balanced in all aspects of your life. And I know that's what a lot of people are wanting to do. They might feel burned out, or they're seeking love. But what we're really learning how to do is how to love in a new way, how to relate in a new way. And I think that we learn how to do that by first relating and learning how to love our guides. Last thing I'm going to leave you with is always, always give thanks to your guides. Always say thank you to them. Say a little prayer to them every single night, to your guides, to your angels. And whenever you receive a synchronicity, just say to yourself in your head, thank you so much. Or just like smile, like give them some kind of reassurance, because it's so important to develop that kind of relationship, because they never tire of giving you messages. They're not human. And so they don't tire. They will continuously give you messages. And like I said, it will always be gentle. It will always be loving. It will never bring you down or put you down or make you scared. It will always be very loving and gentle. So if you're looking to develop your intuition, if you're looking to get some clarity on maybe a soulmate, or your path, or maybe you're receiving messages, maybe you're awakening and you're wanting to know more, I would really look forward to working with you. You can book with me through an intuitive session slash reading, where I would help you just kind of dive a little bit deeper and kind of get a different perspective, maybe like a higher perspective, because I am an angelic guide and channel. And so I'm always going to be like, my information will be very optimistic and, will be like for your highest path. Like our angels are never going to defeat us or make us feel bad. So if that's something you're looking for, some guidance that you're needing, definitely book with me. You can follow me on Instagram, and that's where you can book. Go to my bio. There's a little button that says book. You click on that. You're able to reach me through that. So I'll leave all that information below in the description box here on YouTube. So if you would like that, you can go ahead and follow me there. Thank you for listening. I'm sending you so much love, and I hope you have a wonderful day.